This is episode 57 with Kord Angelucci.
Welcome to Men of Abundance, the podcast for those looking to level up their lives by hanging out with some of the greatest leaders and established professionals in our community, living a life of integrity, honor, and the abundance mentality. Prepare to pay it forward with your host, former Army medic turned lifestyle entrepreneur, Wally Carmichael.
What's up, Men of Abundance? We have yet another amazing and abundant leader on the line today. And before we bring Kord out, of course, you know, I always have a few announcements. And I'm telling you, there has been so many changes with Men of Abundance over the last couple weeks. You may or may not know, but I brought on a coach. Yeah, that's right. I have a coach. I always talk about the importance of having a coach. And I wanted to take this podcast and the Men of Abundance community to a completely new level. And the only way to do that, in my mind, based on all of the abundant leaders that I've talked to already, is to get a coach for that specific area that you want to work on. And I have quite a few areas that I need to work on, as many of us do. So I've got a coach working with me for my personal branding, both on and offline, and helping me with this podcast. So you're going to start seeing some changes. You're going to see some changes in my intro and my outro. You're going to see some changes in my social media and what I'm doing with my social media that's really going to enhance the whole experience for all of you. That's ultimately what it's all about. Now, the main reason why I reached out to this coach was because a few people have been contacting me and asking me for my time to coach them in living a life of abundance and to change their mindset from one of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. To be quite honest with you, while I am living a life of abundance in my own right, I was not sure I was going to be able to put a program together to properly coach these individuals and feel like I was doing the right thing by them. So I reached out to a coach. I reached out to someone who develops coaching programs, and she is helping me develop a coaching program that is going to greatly benefit these individuals who have already reached out to me and possibly you. One thing I can tell you right now is who this coaching program would be for, and it may surprise you. It certainly did me, quite frankly, as I started looking into the individuals who are contacting me. The men who are contacting me to get coaching, and by the way, I'm only going to be working with men. Sorry, ladies. The men who have contacted me so far for this specific type of coaching are already successful in their own right. They've already built businesses. They've already done some very amazing things. They have residual income. They just have a scarcity mindset, and they want to take their life to the next level, and they know that they want to live an abundant lifestyle. So obviously, I'm very excited to put a program together so that I can help these individuals live a true life of abundance. Now, that doesn't mean to say that anybody who is not successful in your own mind, and I'll tell you that in most cases you are very successful, more so than you already think you are. But if you can realize an abundant lifestyle before you see the success, the financial, the personal, the professional success that you seek in your life, I assure you, you're going to have a much better ride than the other way around. So many men that I've talked to get very, very successful in their business and in their finances, but have no fulfillment whatsoever in their life. That's where I come in. That's where a program called Living Your Life of Abundance would be important to you. So if that is you, go to menofabundance.com/coaching and get on the waiting list. When this program is ready and I open it up to the public, I assure you, I'm only going to work with a few people at a time. So go to menofabundance.com/coaching and get on the waiting list. But until then, you can always continue listening to this podcast and get on our Facebook fan page at facebook.com/Men of Abundance. Of course, I will drop that link along with the link for our private Facebook group in the show notes at menofabundance.com/057. All right, let's get Kord out here. You're going to love this one. Now, you're quickly going to be able to see why I wanted to bring Kord onto the Men of Abundance podcast and introduce him to all of you, because Kord has been coaching children in sports since 1995. He is doing some amazing things with these young kids. Now, Kord was diagnosed with dyslexia, and there's my dyslexia in there, and I was actually dyslexic when I was a kid as well, and I didn't even realize it until I had my own boys. They were dealing with it, And once I was looking at what their symptoms were, so-called symptoms, I realized I went through the same thing when I was in school. So I had a very good conversation with Kord because of that. Of course, just like with myself and my boys, Kord struggled in school and his grades suffered as well. As a result of those struggles, the feeling of being a failure academically resulted in a low self-esteem, being less social, and his growing anxiety caused frequent migraines. Although Kord struggled in the classroom, he excelled in sports at a very young age and was proud when he received positive feedback from coaches and the community. Kord later went on to attend Hofstra University, graduating with a BA in philosophy, an MA in physical education, and an advanced graduate certificate in applied behavior analysis. So obviously Kord's so-called disability did not hold him back academically at all. Kord, welcome to Men of Abundance, man.
Hey, Wally, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Where are you at in the world?
I am in Long Beach, Long Island, New York, and it's a beautiful place for just getting away from the city and kind of having a laid-back beach town just 40 minutes away from Manhattan.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. That sounds nice. I know it's getting ready to get pretty darn cold there this time of year, though.
Not exciting. The sun's going down earlier, and it's starting to get cold finally.
I like the little chill, the little bite in the morning sometimes. I haven't had that in a long time, though. But I do like that. But when it starts snowing, it's just not as romantic as they make it out to be.
Yeah, it's not Hawaii.
It's certainly not. And I know because
I'm just jealous.
Well, the only time I ever lived in the snow was when I lived 3 years in Germany, and I literally lived in the snow. I mean, I woke up, would sleep on the ground, and wake up, with 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow over the top of me. Not a fun deal to drive in either.
That's amazing. You were in Germany for the service?
Yeah, I was in the Army back then.
Well, thank you for serving, and that's pretty amazing. Did you like your time in Germany?
We did, actually. I'll have to say that my family was in Germany. I spent more time in the Balkans and in an area of Germany called Grafenholmfelds, where it's basically a training area for the military. So my family was in Baumholder, but yeah, we enjoyed the region. We really like that area of the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I like to start the show off basically the same way I start pretty much every morning, which is with an attitude of gratitude. What do you have to be grateful for today, Kord?
I think it's just as simple as being happy about my health, having freedom, something we take for granted, having people that love and appreciate me, and being able to serve people with my mission of helping children be proud, have confidence, and be strong. And I'm just lucky to go through this journey that's sometimes difficult, but it's always rewarding.
Yeah, without a doubt. To say that the children are our future is, an understatement, but it's the way that children are brought up at an early age and the influences that they have that truly makes our communities and who they are as they grow older and how they treat other people. So I've seen what you're doing. I really, really love what you're doing. In fact, let's go ahead and get into that. I gave a very short bio just before we got started here and talked a little bit about you, but I really want to hear a little bit more about you because we like to get to know the person behind the greatness, and you're doing amazing things. So let's hear just a little bit about you, and let's get a little bit personal.
Thanks, Wally. So basically, I, just like all little guys that start kindergarten and they're very ambitious to learn and ask questions and curious, everyone's raising their answers and no one's really scared of being judged or wrong. And then in a few short months, they're kind of, they conform and they kind of get a little scared and they realize that they have the wrong answers. And that's probably in first or second grade when I realized that learning wasn't as simple as for me as it was for other children. And I had ADD and I had dyslexia, and I realized that a lot of my success and my confidence wasn't going to come as a result of going to school. And school is a large part of every child, and that's how most children get measured, is by tests and exams. And Parents focus on that one F or that one D and not the two A's. And, my mission is to find children's God-given talent and for parents to hone it. I think education comes from home. And I think it's important to embrace all the talents that our children have. I also think it's important for parents to model good behavior. Children don't really listen to words, they listen to actions, and they model their parents. The last podcast that I listened to that you published with Jay Pappison, I think, and I read his book, a couple of his books. It was great because I love how the children see you working out, you're working out hard, and they want to be part of that. And it's very bonding. And that's like a lifestyle change that they're going to pivot, and then they're going to do that with their kids. And that goes on for generations. So I love that. And, for me, it was very difficult getting through school. Flying tests, failing tests with flying colors wasn't a good time. And I really gained all my confidence through playing sports, especially soccer and ice hockey.
Yeah, you bring up some very good points, and we could go chapter after chapter and episode after episode on this subject alone because I'm very passionate about how our children learn, how my children learn. I didn't do well in school. I was never diagnosed with ADHD. I was never diagnosed with dyslexia, though as I had my own children, I have a 22-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 7-year-old. My 22-year-old was unbelievable in school, and when I mean unbelievable, I mean not good. Starting with preschool, they were calling us and saying, you got to come get this kid. And he was, teachers wanted to diagnose him with ADHD and all this other stuff. And we took him to get, by recommendation from the school, we took him to get professionally, diagnosed. And they said, he's a rambunctious young man. Leave him alone, let him do his thing, figure out other ways to channel his energy. And I'm not completely against, the pharmaceutical assistance that some kids have had because I've seen it work. But we just knew that our kid wasn't us. What I saw in him, I saw me in him. And I saw his frustration. I felt his frustration. And now he's doing amazing things. It's just wonderful that, you recognize that and what you're doing with the kids. So let's talk a little bit more about that. What exactly are you doing? I've seen you, you're working out with the kids. And what specific children are you working with?
So my history, I go, even though I wasn't a big fan of school, I ended up going to college for philosophy, and then I continued on with going to grad school for physical education, and there was no teaching jobs. And then I continued to go back to college and spend more money to get certified to be a behavior analyst and develop strategies for parents and for teachers to improve behavior in schools and at home. And I really did love that. When I was doing that, I was working with a lot of children with special needs, and I still work with, a small percentage of children like that. I like working with children that just need a little confidence boost, whether it's they're really smart and they have two left feet. A child's not going to be made fun of for getting a 40 on a math test, but they will if they can't kick a kickball at recess. So I think it's very important, especially for boys, to have that social confidence to go out there and to run around and have fun. It's very important to me. So I think right now I work with mostly kids who just need a little confidence in sports. Most of my stuff is through sports. A lot of people don't have a lot of sports skills. So I also implement working out and agility drills. And I think that's something that, that just comes down to doing it. If you do your workouts, you're going to get confidence. It doesn't come overnight. It could take 2-3 weeks. But eventually, after 2-3 weeks of that, if you don't do that workout, you're going to feel like you're missing something that day. And I know that I am most efficient after I get a good workout in the morning. And I listened to the Tom Schwab interview, and I really do believe in a morning routine that is super important. I've just implemented that in my life in the last year. And I'm part of the Iron Sharpens Iron community with Aaron Walker. Aaron Walker is what they say. I'm from New York, so I say it different. And Tom Schwab. And ever since being in that community, starting last January, my life has taken a significant turn for the better.
Yeah, that's a wonderful community. I was actually just on video chat one-on-one with Aaron Walker. I always say Aaron too, and I'm used to saying Aaron, and every time I talk to him, I have to catch myself and say Aaron because he's big A.
And that's what I call him, so I don't get in trouble.
Exactly. He's an amazing, amazing man. And no, absolutely right. And you know what you say about confidence in exercise with the children, the same is true with adults as well, because I've worked with a lot of adults in health and fitness and building their, helping them with their health and fitness, nutrition, and just getting moving and doing stuff. And I always see every single time somebody who, not everybody's lacking the confidence, but most people gain much more confidence the day they start working out, like that day, as long as they don't break them off, and make it too difficult to where it completely, like I was just talking with a gentleman this morning, in fact, who I just got him started with a very intense workout, and he messaged me and said, I'm a little discouraged. And I said, don't be, man, you're just getting started. But most people, they gain confidence like really quickly as soon as they start working out.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't say enough about it. I think it's one of those things where you're going outside your comfort zone, whatever your comfort zone is, whether it's watching reality TV or just, working out 7 days a week. It's important for people to implement other habits that are going to promote positivity and happiness. And just sitting on a couch and eating junk food, processed food all day can make someone not feel that pride that someone that gets off the couch for the 3 minutes, because I'm doing a 3-minute daily workout challenge with kids, and I'm trying to promote it through parents, because if they do it, their children are going to model them. And children, the first way we learn is through mimicking as soon as we're born, and it's very important for parents to be responsible and lead through actions. And it's really cool because I'm getting a lot of great feedback, but I was 2 years ago, it was about awareness. I didn't think this abundantly before 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I started listening to podcasts. And then from there, I realized that there's so much value out there that's for free. And investing doesn't necessarily mean to put your money into something. So what we all share in common is time. And what we do with that time is most valuable, whether it's the wealthiest person or the poorest person. We all have that chance to make the most of our time. And I like to do it by listening to podcasts that have improved my mindset. It's really important that I've been listening to a lot of real estate podcasts. I listen to JLD and EO Fire, and I listen to a number of other podcasts that have inspired me to be the best I can be. And it's all free. I find it amazing how when I tell people to listen to these amazing free value podcasts, that more people don't do it. And it's upsetting to me, because I know that living an abundant life means just a paradigm mind shift. And it's just amazing in 2 years, because I never thought abundantly. I thought scarcity. And through this journey of life, it's kind of fun to change a mindset and be inspired by other people. And clearly being in this group has been amazing, because now I'm around other people that are like-minded, that have accomplished so much, and now it inspires me to do it in the mission and the passion that I have for working with kids, helping out families, being the best I can be. I think Gandhi said it best, was that be what you of course I'm blowing this one, be the change you want to see in the world. And I just love that, because it just inspires me to be the best I can be, so other kids, other families can be inspired by me. And I like when parents are a good role model so they can inspire their children.
It's so true. It really is. And nobody has any excuse at all anymore. Obviously, we don't have to speak to the audience here because they're listening to this podcast, obviously. And I thank you all for it. But you need to reach out and share this podcast and other podcasts with so many other people, because the fact of the matter is, like Jim Rohn said, and JLD ends every one of his episodes with, is you are, in fact, the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's either physically right there in front of you every single day. Most of you are sitting at work and with, various people 8 hours a day, some of them very negative, or they're just not where you want to be in life. You can pop in a headphone while you're sitting at the desk and listen to, as long as, you're still getting to work, get the work done. I'm not advocating you don't get your work done. But the bottom line is this: on your commute back and forth, listen to any one of 5 podcasts. Download them, subscribe to them. The episodes automatically get downloaded to your device, and you listen to them on your way to and from work, or on your commute, or just doing stuff around the house. It's an amazing way and a free way to change your 5 people, change the 5 that you spend the most time with. And here I am. I get this amazing opportunity to speak with people like Kord, who's doing amazing things in the community and changing these young people's lives, and getting the parents involved, which is, I know that's not simple to do. And at this point, Kord, what I'd like to do is, I know you've got a lot of great things going on, but I'd like to get into that kick in the gut moment that I always like to get into this story, mainly because I like people to realize that Kord's got it together right now, as far as we can see. But somewhere along the line, there was that kick in the gut moment that, he had to overcome. So I'd like to hear that story, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, Wally, I think it's just one of those things where sometimes you don't see the light because you're just so stuck in your mind. And I think the breakthrough was when I started listening to podcasts 2 years ago. I came across one which is called Get Rich Education with Keith Weinhold. And it's amazing how one leads to another, John Lee Dumas was on his program, and I was like, who is this firecracker? And then I started listening to him, and day after day I listened to him and his energy. And before I know it, consciously and subconsciously, I was thinking more positively. I was thinking more abundantly, and I started believing in myself. I was like, and it's kind of, I was at Podcast Movement just a few short months ago in Chicago, and when I see all these other characters doing this, I'm like, I could pull this stuff off. And I also wanted to just kind of start my tribe, but a lot, I think there's stages of this, and the first one was just becoming aware. And once I started being around listening to podcasts that were once I started listening to podcasts that were about being abundant, I started to open my mind, and that scarcity mindset kind of slowly went away. I'm just thrilled to have the drive and constantly love learning. I love teaching. The best way to learn is by teaching, and I also love kind of thinking outside the box. So just being in this community. So I said the first thing is awareness, and then I reconditioned my mind. And now it's like the implementation part. It's like the being uncomfortable part. And, some things that you can do that are uncomfortable, as silly as what I did a couple of weeks ago after a couple of drinks, is I did karaoke, which I promised I would never do. And, traveling abroad, which is very uncomfortable for a lot of Americans. And putting out videos on YouTube and, Facebook and Instagram is how I connected with you. So even though it was a huge hurdle to get over and kind of just say, I'm going to do this, listening to myself and watching myself, it's still really uncomfortable. But I'm getting better at it. And Big A would say, because when I did a presentation in front of them, and I did this Stevie Wonder kind of walk back and forth. And I did these movements because I was so uncomfortable. But I think it was my year of uncomfortability that really has kind of driven me to get a platform for people to get my message out there, because when I'm working, I only do it for a few short hours a day, and I can't really touch as many people as if I'm online and using all these different platforms to get my message out there. And I think it's an important message, and it's something I really care about. I really want children to be able to find what they love, if it's music, if it's dance, if it's art. And I think parents really need to appreciate those things and not necessarily what their child isn't so good at, or the C's or the D's that they get in school. It's going to make your child more encouraged to make their parents proud, and it just crushes me when children don't have confidence. So yeah, I don't know. I think I went all over with you could see my ADHD right there.
No, and you're exactly. It was beautiful. I absolutely loved it. And the thing that I get out of that I want Men of Abundance, all of you out there, to really hear, and we talk about this over and over and over again, but it again just proves it. You have to get outside of your comfort zone. You have to get uncomfortable. He didn't, Kord wasn't comfortable doing these videos and putting himself out there, but it's how I found him. And it's how you're able to listen to him now. And he put himself out there. And it does get easier. And you've heard me say this early on in this podcast, if you've been paying attention and you've been around for all 45 episodes that have currently posted, is I don't like the sound of my own voice. But now I'm getting used to it. I'm getting better. In fact, it was Aaron who told me, dude, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. It's it's just the way it is. Deal with it. He gave me some encouragement. He said, you sound amazing. One of my neighbors actually that listens to my podcast, she told me my voice is very soothing, and she said the thing she liked about my podcast was my voice. I was like, and I didn't tell her at the time I don't like my voice. I just took it back. I was like, really? Wow, that's kind of odd, somebody really? So, just get over it. Get over it. I'm not telling you to go jump off a cliff. I'm not telling you to go skydiving. Right. I'm not telling you, but doing things like, I will tell you though, get outside the country. Get a passport. At least get outside your own state. But get outside the country. It's amazing, amazing things happen to your mind when you go see how other people live. Even in another state, but definitely if you get a chance, and take your kids. It's by far the best education you will ever give yourself, and the best gift you will ever give your kids, to get outside the country, without a doubt.
No doubt, it's the best experience, and it's so funny because I've been to Europe a few times this past year and a half, and the children's behaviors and the way that parents work with their children or discipline their children all around different parts of Europe is so different than here. Mm-hmm. It's incredible how, I'm just observant because I just love kind of, people watching and all that. But watching the way parents in Europe work with their children, it's so amazing how the children aren't coddled and the parents don't want to be best friends. And I don't know what happened in America in the last couple of decades, but I'm not sure if what parents are doing, especially in the New York area, is what's best for the children in the earlier years. I understand being best friends with your children when they get back from college, but life is really hard and there's lots of struggles, and I think sometimes children have to learn the hard way about just respect and appreciation, and technology has definitely played a huge role. These kids are on their iPads, and a lot of these kids do not even ride bikes. And before, what I was saying about 5-year-olds who are curious and want to learn and they're not scared, 5-year-olds will jump on a bike. But then if they have no motivation to bike anywhere because everyone's so sheltered, they don't learn, and then their parents want them to learn by age 8, and the children are so scared at the age of 8 that they don't have confidence in the belief. It's really remarkable. So I just encourage parents to get your kids out there, have them climb trees, let them learn by failing. Failing forward is a very important thing as far as having a business, being a child, and just living. It's the part of the journey. Obviously, we don't want them getting hurt, but getting hurt means learning.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I want to point out about that is it's raining really hard right now. So you might hear that in the background.
I do.
Beautiful. So I'll be at the park with my little guy. And, he was ever since he was 5 or 6, he's 7 now. But he would jump off the top slide. He wouldn't slide down the slide. He'd jump off when he's playing tag or something to evade the other children from touching him. He would jump off the top, and the other parents are going, telling their kids, don't do this, don't do that. You're going to get hurt. Slow down, don't run. be quiet, don't scream. I'm like, goodness gracious, let the kid play. And one mother actually told my son, don't jump off the top, because then my son's going to want to do the same thing. I went over there and I said, Dalton, I always get them mixed up. There are 3 Ds. So I call them D1, D2, and D3. But I said, Dalton, if you want to jump off the top of the slide, you can jump off the top of the slide. And I made sure that the mother heard me say that. I wasn't trying to be an a-hole about it. It's just I don't want... He's learning, and they're all learning together, and the other kids are going to learn from him. But, I don't like to put those simple limitations on my kid, and the other kids were so timid. And I'm not saying I'm the best dad, and I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to make that out to be that way. It's just in this particular case, they were really limiting what their kids could do, and they were being that hover, I guess they call it the hovering parent, the hover parent.
Yeah. But it's amazing, because I think the trust that you put in your child, and they see that, they're going to respond and be more respectful as a result. I see a lot of children that are very oppositional, and it's because they're not trusted. And trust in business is important. Trust with your family is important. And you have to give your child a little bit of trust in order for them to respect you and build a better rapport. It's very important.
It is, absolutely. So at this point, Kord, we're going to pay it forward to Men of Abundance. Are you ready to do that?
Let's do it.
Hey, man, listen, there are many stresses throughout our day, throughout our life, and many of those stresses we cannot control. And actually, we create more stress in our life trying to control those stresses that we can't control. But there are a few things that cause stress in our life that we can control, one of which you're doing right now, which is controlling your mindset by controlling what goes into your mind. You're controlling your thoughts right now by listening to this podcast. Another thing that you can control is the stress that we put on our body by what we consume throughout the day. Many of us are running around from meeting to meeting. We're on the go. We'll stop and grab a quick snack, probably out of the vending machine or something like that, or something that's not very healthy. Well, one thing that I do and have been doing for almost 6 years now is every single morning I start my day off right with a superfood dense nutrition shake. And I can hear all the groans and moans out there. I'm telling you, I did the same thing. When I started drinking this stuff, I fully intended on getting my money back, because there's a 30-day money back guarantee, and I fully intended on getting every cent back. So on the 28th day, I had my blood work done again, and my cholesterol, my blood work, everything was absolutely perfect, as opposed to what it was 28 days prior. This stuff has helped my family in so many ways, everything from my esophageal reflux to my joint pain. Look, it's just dense nutrition that my body was not already getting, even though I was not eating terribly. I thought I was eating pretty good, but this stuff has some amazing stuff in it, and I'm not going to get into all the ingredients, but just to give you an idea. Shakeology has protein, amino acids, antioxidants such as camu camu, goji berry, which is extremely important because they help the body fight against degenerative aging and heart disease, high blood pressure. Shakeology also has phytonutrients, which greatly boosts your immune system. Shakeology also contains adaptogens such as ashwagandha and reishi mushroom, which is Ganoderma. This is the stuff that helps your body fight against that stress that we're talking about. Look, I can go on, and you're going to continue to be as skeptical as I was until you give this stuff a try yourself. The fact is, your body can regenerate itself as long as you treat it right and you give it the proper nutrition that it needs. Shakeology is by far the healthiest meal of my day, as well as that of my family, because everybody in my family drinks Shakeology. And we have been for over 6 years, like I already said. So if you want more information or you're just ready to order, go to menofabundance.com. Select resources at the top of the page. Then scroll down to health and fitness hacks and you'll see the Shakeology video right there, and you can order right there from that page. Once you order from that link, I will be assigned as your personal coach, and you can contact me with any questions about health and fitness that you have, and if I can answer them, I will. Now let's get back to the show. Perfect. So give our abundant leaders 1 to 3 actionable steps that they can take today.
First thing is, it really comes down to wanting to learn. To invest in yourself is just listening to free podcasts that you're interested in. There's a million out there. 350,000. And it's important for you to, it's important for one, if they really care about having an abundant mindset, to put themselves out there and listen to an hour or maybe a little bit more each week on their commute. Another way to do it is start reading. Reading is I didn't start reading before this year. As a result, I wasn't learning anything new. And that's part of also the uncomfortability part of this year, where I've read 25 books or something like that this year. And it's amazing because I'm not implementing them as well as I should be, but I'm becoming more aware, and I'm trying to do things that I didn't do in the past. So I'd say reading, I'd say podcast, and I like TED Talks. I think they're really inspiring. And again, it's a free platform. And waking up every morning and saying to yourself how grateful you are to have all these simple things that we take for granted is so helpful, because it makes it so much harder when you do that on a continual basis. It makes it so much harder to be depressed. So I would recommend people just thanking the people that they're around, and it's really hard because people take things for granted, and this time on earth is so short, and we don't really appreciate all the amazing things that we have. So gratitude is something that I implemented, and it's really paid off.
Perfect. What habits make up the biggest impact in your life?
My morning routine. I wake up, I read, I get to a coffee shop before I get any text or look at any emails, and then I get to the gym and I become more productive, get the blood pumping, I feel better, and it really does make me happy, and it makes me feel good, so feeling good mentally and physically. When you're a child, you're like a rubber band, you don't get hurt, but you're not as wise. And right between the ages of 30 and 40, there's like a crossroads where the physical part goes down and the mental part goes up, and it's just important to me to have a good morning routine.
I dig that. I like that you said that. How right about middle age is when it starts to flip flop. That's very true. You already mentioned quite a few books, that you read quite a few books, and I do love to read as well. I don't take the time to read, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks. In fact, I just finished Be Obsessed or Be Average with Grant Cardone. And I'm already getting into the next one. So what book would you recommend to our abundant leaders, and why?
Okay, well, I love Think and Grow Rich. It's a game changer for me. Napoleon Hill is incredible. I don't think he's really discussed as a philosopher or how influential he should be. And I'm shocked that children in high school don't have to read that as a requirement. It just talks about determination, and no matter what you do, you just keep on going at it, and you will have an abundant life. I also love one thing about it that says that most men don't figure out things or become successful until their 40s. And he discusses Henry Ford, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Carnegie, and that really struck something with me, because I'm getting to that age, and there's no reason to give up. You just take your wisdom and you keep on going, and you enjoy the journey. I would also say Outwitting the Devil, which is also Napoleon Hill, is a remarkable book. Mm-hmm. Napoleon Hill's family did not let him release that book until all his immediate family members were dead, because they were scared about the church and the feedback. And it was only released in 2012, even though he wrote it in 1936 or 37, I believe. So it gives me goosebumps when I read it. So that's a really cool book that a lot of people haven't read, but I love it. And it talks about drifting. And unless we have goals and we're accountable, and most people drift. And when you drift and you don't have goals written down, you're not going to be accomplishing as much as you can. And then I'd say my last book would be Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Again, that's a paradigm shift and mindset, completely realizing that perhaps your first house that you buy for your family isn't necessarily an asset. It's a liability, because money comes out of your pocket. I think I love those books. And I could say a bunch of other books also, but it's amazing that I guess I'm somewhat proud of myself for actually starting to read, and just being uncomfortable and forcing myself to read in the morning, part of the routine for 45 minutes. It established something where now it's a positive habit that I look forward to, as opposed to something that I demanded upon myself in the beginning.
Yeah, all excellent books. I've read every single one of them. In fact, I was going to say Outwitting the Devil just came out like 4 or 5 years ago, but I know it was written in the 30s, and that's an amazing book. So I will have those books listed in the show notes with links, as well as in the show notes. I want to share this really quick. And I just found this out, actually. I just realized I had this technology on my website. But everybody already knows, if you've been listening, I have timestamps in the show notes that you can click on that will take you directly to a point of interest that you want to listen to in the show. So you don't have to try to scroll back and forth and all this stuff. Just click on the timestamp. It'll take you straight there at menofabundance.com. And in any of the episodes. But then the really cool thing is, and this is something I'd appreciate it if you did, I'm talking to listeners, and I'm talking to you as well, Kord, when you listen to one of these. There's a clamor button in the podcast player. There's a red button that says clamor, and when you click on that at that point, that area that you wanted to listen to, you can click on that. It'll put like a little clip, and you can post that on Clamor, and you can choose to post it onto your Facebook and Twitter if you have those accounts, and you can change if you want to, you can change the little verbiage and whatnot, but that will get this out there even more. It's a really cool technology, and it pushes that audio clip out there. It's really neat. So anyhow, I have one last question I have to ask you, Kord, and that is, what does living a life of abundance mean to you?
First of all, you just taught me a lot of things. I was taking notes, so note to self, that is amazing stuff, and I love the time telling you where everything is. That's amazing stuff. Abundance means to me, it's freedom, and just knowing that there's other like-minded people out there. Become part of a mentor program. Find someone that is where you want to be. And there's all these meetups, and sometimes you have to pay $10, $15 for it, but it's really worth it, because once you start changing the people that you're hanging out with, and The Compound Effect is another book. But like after he talks about it, I think it's Darren Hardy, he talks about 18 months after you start your implementation of your lifestyle changes and positive habits, you'll see significant differences. And for me, it's only been about 10, 12 months, and I'm already starting to see it turn, where I'm believing in myself, my confidence has improved, and it's as a result of being with better people that are stronger-willed and really want to have significance and success in this life. And just getting my story out there, even as uncomfortable as it is something that I'm actually waking up each morning, and I'm really pumped about doing my 1-minute Instagram video about working out for 3 minutes each day and getting daily routines and just implementing positive things, because for the first 10 months when I was trying to be positive and, get things on the right track, I was looking to people that were doing inspirational TED Talks and looking at quotes and things that just drive me to be the best I can be. Everyone can do it. It's free. Listen to podcasts, check out TED Talks, meet with people where you want to be. And everyone can do this. It will take a little time, and I think that's the most discouraging thing. It's not overnight. It's not 3 weeks. It's months and months. But keep the path. You're gonna get there, and it's all about determination, just like Napoleon Hill said.
Absolutely excellent. I love that. So we're going to close this up, Kord, and before we do, please leave us with a short parting piece of guidance and any way that we can reach you, watch your videos, follow you on social media, and anything, and I'll put all of that in the show notes as well.
Well, thank you for just reaching out to me. I didn't realize how, after 10 days I would get so much, so many people to say such nice things. You can see me on Instagram at Kords Kidz. That's Kords, Kids, Kidz. And yes, my mom tormented me with that name. That's my real name. So I was always called like Extension and Bungee, and but it's Kords Kidz, and on Instagram, and my Facebook is Kord Angelucci, And I just think, just go out there. Anyone can do whatever they want to. They just have to change their environment and their friends.
Absolutely. Very powerful what you just said there. Truly appreciate your time, man. I love what you're doing. I'm going to share all of those links and everything, guys, in the show notes, so you don't have to write it down while you're driving or working out or doing whatever you're doing. Just go to menofabundance.com, put Kord in the search bar. So far, Kord is the only Kord that we've had on the show so far. And it'll take you right to this episode, and you can just scroll down and check out the links and everything and all those timestamps I was talking about. Kord, I appreciate your time, and have an amazing day, man.
You too. Thank you so much, Wally.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, Men of Abundance, that's all I have for you today. I hope you truly enjoyed that conversation with Kord. And if you did, be abundant in your life today and share this information, share this podcast, share the Men of Abundance website with as many people as you see fit. Now go out and live your life of abundance and make sure to pay it forward.
That's all for today, Abundance Leaders. For more about our guests and the powerful information we shared with you today, be sure to sign up for our mailing list at menofabundance.com. We appreciate your time and look forward to hanging out with you on our next episode. So until then, be sure to pay it forward and live your life of abundance.